Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, it's Thursday, June 25th, and it is 9:58 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, we've got two videos on tap for this evening. At least I hope we do, if I can get through both of them. But first, I think what we're going to do is get caught up on Q. Q posted yesterday and he has posted today. So I think that's what we'll do for the first video, is get caught up with Q. But just in case I don't get to the second video, which I'm hoping that I can, but just in case, I do want to thank some people. So let me go ahead real quick and do that. That's not where I want to be. Let's go over here, and the following made donations via coffee. Barb B in Cincinnati, she has contributed quite a bit, actually, over the course of this show. She's a very faithful listener, so thank you, Barb. And Cece in Plano, thank you very, very much. And Lily and Kathy from Australia. Someday I'm going to visit Australia. I had a very good friend from Australia. She immigrated to the States, and we were neighbors when I lived in Statesville, North Carolina. And she has now gone back to Australia. But her stories, and I loved her accent. I love the Australian accent. Anyway, it's a place that I would love to visit. Also, Patreon, Maureen K increased her pledge. I appreciate that very, very much. More than you know. So thank you guys. Can't do this without you. So anyway, let's go over to the Q posts and let's get started with those. All right. Well, we are picking up right from where I left off in the last video that I did regarding Q. So we are on drop 4506. And of course, we all know this by now about Michael Flynn. Very good news. Michael Flynn, the People's General. Interesting that Q put it that way, the People's General. Now, and remember back when Q first posted, well, it wasn't at the very, very beginning, but it was near the beginning of when he started posting. He said that Michael Flynn knew where all the bodies were buried. Interesting. So here Q says the People's General soon, and then it says there's 3 stars. Interesting. And then Q. So I don't know, but I think that Trump has plans for General Flynn, and wouldn't surprise me if in his upcoming administration, when he gets reelected, that he will have Flynn somewhere in his administration. At least that's what I believe. Maybe even sooner. Who knows? All right. Kaylee McKinney said, today's decision by an appeals court to dismiss the case against Lieutenant General Michael Flynn is a victory for justice and truth. All Americans are entitled to equal justice under the law and due process. No American should ever be unjustly targeted by their government. And she put Flynn and a little American flag here. So that is Kaylee McKinney. And over here, Lisa Mae Crowley said, with the awesome news regarding federal appeals court ordering Judge Sullivan to dismiss the case against General Flynn, we will soon see him back in action. Cannot wait. Congratulations, General Flynn and Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell, of course, is his lawyer. And Sun Q2 says, the People's General. General Flynn, justice is coming soon. Yes, it is. All right, well, let's move on. And we are now on drop 4507. This is from yesterday, the 24th of June, 4507. Peter Strzok notes from January 4th, 2017 show Obama/Biden schemed against Flynn. Now, we knew that they had schemed against Flynn. We just didn't know that Biden was involved. We suspected that Obama was, but sure enough, Biden and Obama were involved, co-conspirators, I guess, and also both guilty of treason. All right, and I've made this a little bit bigger down here so that we can see it, and it is the definition of the word patriot. 1, a person who loves, supports, and defends his or her country and its interests with devotion. So, not enough to love your country, you've also got to defend its interests as well, with devotion. A person who regards himself or herself as a defender, especially of individual rights against presumed interference by the federal government. Traitor, a person who betrays another, a cause, or any trust. A person who commits treason by betraying his or her country. Well, both of them are guilty of that, along with many others in the former government. All right, and Q placed that, and beneath it a link, and we're going to go out to that link in a second here. And beneath that, Q said, they never thought she would lose. Careless. Q. Yeah, very careless. Now let's look at the link that Q has provided for us, and we are here. This is by Technofog. Peter Strzok notes from 1/4/17 released in Flynn case, discussion among Obama, Comey, Yates, Biden, and Susan Rice. Biden, Logan Act. Obama, have the right people on Flynn case. Comey, the Flynn Kislyak call appears legit. So, yeah, very interesting. And I have these notes actually. Well, let's go through these. Strzok's notes, believed to be of January 4th, 2017, reveal that former President Obama, James Comey, Sally Yates, Joe Biden, and apparently Susan Rice discussed the transcripts of Flynn's calls and how to proceed against him. Mr. Obama himself directed that the right people investigate General Flynn. This caused former FBI Director Comey to acknowledge the obvious. General Flynn's phone calls with Ambassador Kislyak appear legit. According to Strzok's note, it appears that Vice President Biden personally raised the idea of the Logan Act. That became an admitted pretext to investigate General Flynn. The notes are attached as Exhibit 1. And these are the notes. Now, this is hand scratch, but you can make them out. So, well, some of them you can. It says Logan Act. These are unusual times. I've been on the something for 10 years, and I never, and then it says P, make sure you something of thing and have the right people on it. And is there anything I shouldn't be telling transition team? Flynn, Kislyak call, but appear legit. Happy New Year. Yeah, right. Not sure what that's all about, but those are the actual notes that are scratched out there. Not the best handwriting, but then I'm the last person to accuse somebody of bad handwriting, because if you saw mine, it looks like a doctor's. Very few people can read my handwriting. All right, so let's go back. And, well, Xander has decided to, I've got the fan on, so I've got my microphone up on the desk. Hopefully you can't hear the fan on, but I had to turn off my air conditioner because it is too loud. And it's really hot outside, so opening the window doesn't help much. All right, so now Xander has the little stand that my microphone goes on. Xander is making use of that to sleep on. So I say, well, he's an opportunist. He saw an opportunity. All right, so let's come back here and go on with the posts. And so, yeah, these are what we just read here. And come down to here, and we've got Lisa Mae Crowley. She says, yesterday, David Brody, CBN, asked POTUS what crime he's accusing Hussein of committing. POTUS, treason. It's treason. And it is. It's exactly what it is. And it's so funny how people are, making fun of this. And, well, some of the people in the mainstream media and so forth, think, oh, well, there's no evidence. And he's just accusing him with no evidence whatsoever. Trump doesn't accuse people with no evidence. Ever. All right. Now, this by Sun Q2, they never thought she would lose. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even finish the first one. Okay, she said, POTUS replied, treason, it's treason. Can't believe they were stupid enough to keep records of their coup plans. They knew General Flynn was innocent. Of course they knew. They know that Donald Trump is innocent. That hasn't stopped them. And Sun Q2, they never thought she would lose. They were careless, traitors being exposed. This is a huge reveal. Shows Hussein directing action against General Flynn, and Biden was in on it as well. They knew it was based on a fraudulent predicate. And yet, these people have no shame and no moral compass whatsoever. They don't care if somebody's innocent. They don't care if they get sent to prison. They don't care. Would you be able to sleep at night if you knew that you were sending an innocent man to prison? I couldn't. These people apparently can. Don't lose any sleep over it. Shows you what we're dealing with here. All right, and now we are on to drop 4508. 4508, and of course we know who this guy is. And beneath this, it's 18 U.S. Code 2384, seditious conspiracy, and 18 U.S. Code 2381, treason. That is what he's guilty of, both of those things, and we will expect to see him punished appropriately. Okay, and beneath that, he says, add Biden. Of course, add Biden. Biden is guilty of the very same things that Obama is guilty of. They're two peas in a pod. They're both guilty. And so, yes, and of course, he's asking that as a question, but it's not a question. It's a statement. Add Biden. He's guilty of the same things. Memes are important. Q. And memes are important for a number of reasons. First of all, pictures can get through to people where nothing else can. Pictures are extremely powerful, and if you doubt that, think of pornography. Very, very powerful. So the right pictures are powerful, and also memes cannot be the algorithms can't detect memes the same way they can if you are writing something out. So it's much better to use memes, because even though they say that their software can detect memes, it can't, because Q has told us so. They do not have that technology. Now, the government has that technology. They don't. It's not in the private sector. Okay. So let's come down to the next, and we are on drop 4509. 4509. Again, this is from yesterday. Welcome to the digital battlefield. Together we win. And that's exactly what we're on, a digital battlefield. This is very, I guess it's called asymmetric warfare. I think that's what they call it. But anyway, this is a different type of war that we're fighting. I don't think any war has been fought in this manner entirely ever. So something definitely different. And Q says, you have been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield. What is the battlefield? Where is the battlefield? Twitter, Facebook, etc. Social media. That's where the battlefield is. Use other platforms as a form of centralized command and control. Now, you'll notice a big push for Parler. And Parler does not, you can speak your mind there. You're not going to be censored for your conservative views. And a lot of people are going to Twitter. However, I think that Q doesn't necessarily want us to abandon the other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and so forth, because that is where, if you're on Parler, you're talking to a bunch of conservatives who are already won over. So what he's saying is use these platforms like Parler, etc., as a form of centralized command and control. But the battlefield is actually Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So he's not wanting us to totally abandon those, but of course there's things we can't talk about on those that we could freely discuss on Parler. Okay. Organize and connect, bridge through linking, source meme or memes material from Battlefield and or Garage, highlight and share, take and drop. So he's saying, you know, if somebody is posting a meme, take that meme and share it. It's not stealing. You know, it's we're all in this together. We're all on the same side. So take those memes, share them to your social media and so forth, so that it gets spread, because we all have different people that we have following us or that we have influence over or whatever. So yeah, that is what he's telling us to do. Mission 1, dispute, reject propaganda push through posting of research and facts. So instead of when somebody is lying about something, post the research and the facts about that to counter those lies. Mission 2, support role of other digital soldiers. One falls, another stands and rises. And we need to do that because at times some of us are attacked, and you know, then that attack might end and they might move on to somebody else and start attacking them. There are some people like Terrence Williams who gets continually attacked because he is a black man and he is speaking the truth, and he does not hide the fact that he is for Trump. So he is often picked on, especially on Twitter, I notice. So anyway, yeah, mission 3, guide, awaken others through use of facts. D-class 1 to 99 material and other relevant facts and memes. Decouple MSDNC control of info stream. Ask counter questions to initiate thought. Versus repeat echo of MSDNC propaganda. And that is a very, very effective thing to do. If you're seeing somebody posting something, ask them a question to make them really think about what they're posting and why. And it does help. I mean, I know it's helped me. People will ask me a question. Well, if that's true, then why not blah, blah, blah. And it does. It gets you to think. And it's non-confrontational. So anyway, all right, mission 4, learn use of camouflage digitally, primary account, suspended, terminated, use of secondary, and a lot of people are doing that. They get kicked out of Twitter and they come back with a different account. And so yeah, that's use of digital camouflage, really, because it's the same person. You're just under a different name on Twitter. So yeah. And mission 5, identify strengths and weaknesses, personal and designated targets regarding Twitter and Facebook and other. Example, regarding memes, failure to read through use of algo. And we just discussed that. They can't read those memes through the use of their algorithm. And they certainly can't weed through everything that's posted, because I don't know how many people are on Twitter, but it's a lot. So, MCP, Master Control Program, ThinkTron, dependence on person-to-person capture, slow response time, unidentified users, game theory, information warfare. Welcome to the digital battlefield. Together we win. And what he's saying is their algorithm doesn't pick up on these memes, so they have to depend on somebody reporting them, and that takes time. And by the time that time's up and they've pulled it down, well, it's been shared a zillion times, so it's out there, and then they have to wait for somebody else to complain about it. So yeah, it takes time and it takes their attention and uses up their ammunition. All right, now let's see what Sun Q2 has to say. Q lays out our mission as digital soldiers. You are awake for a reason, patriots. The battlefield is Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. These are the big social media platforms where the world is watching. It's great to have backup accounts on Parler, but for now, POTUS is here, the world is here, and the battle is here on Twitter. Q is telling us to use other platforms like Parler as a form of centralized command and control. Organize with other patriots and connect. Form groups of your peers on Twitter that you tend to interact with for the purpose of coordinating joint efforts to expose the deep state and promulgate the patriot message. Link other accounts for more exposure. Memes are an effective way to fight this battle as they avoid Twitter and Facebook suppression algorithms. If you use someone else's meme, do source it, but spread it around and save it for future use. http://qproofs.com has compiled several memes. So if you're looking for memes to use, that's a great place. qproofs.com. qproofs.com. They have several memes that you can grab and use. Mission 1, dispute deep state propaganda by citing research and facts. Mission 2, support other digital soldiers, and if one is taken down, take their place and keep spreading the message. This fight is so much bigger than any one of us. If you are using your real identity to promote MAGA message and you get doxxed or you get harassed, consider becoming an anon. This happened to me in 2018 and I became an anon. I have much more freedom to post as a result. Mission 3, POTUS is about to declass a ton of classified info related to the coup and Crossfire hurricane. When he does, be prepared to use it to wake up the public and use the info to meme. These efforts decouples the MSNDC control of the info stream. Q is reminding us to use the Socratic method as he does and ask questions to cause people to think. People tend to interact more with tweets and threads than that ask questions. You can state a lot of truth in a question if you pose it properly. That's very true. Mission 4, learn how to hide yourself digitally to avoid bot detection. Use secondary accounts to spread memes, have a backup account, and list it in your profile. Mission 5, learn from your mistakes and learn when Twitter suspends your account for 12 hours. My account has been suspended once for 12 hours for using a key trigger word. I have not used that word since, and I try to be careful how I word certain things to avoid the algos. Sometimes it does not matter. Twitter and Facebook have larger Q accounts and Patriot accounts targeted, so use of secondary account or a friend to spread important memes or messages. This is the informational warfare battlefield game theory. All right. And we're moving on now to drop 4510, still on the 24th of June. Digital soldiers, take the oath and serve your country. And what is the oath? It is this: I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear the true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all. Take the oath, mission forward, Q. So Q is wanting us to take the oath as a digital soldier that we will defend the Constitution against all enemies of the United States, against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So Sun Q2 says, I need to read these last two posts from Q. It's discouraging spending time doing this analysis only to see Twitter algorithms heavily suppress Q analysis. Q gave the oath to digital soldiers. This is the informational warfare battlefield, patriots. General Flynn knew it and prepared us for it when he gave us the term digital soldiers. And you know what? Digital soldiers can be every bit as effective as flesh and blood soldiers. In a different way, of course. And of course, there's room for both. We need the flesh and blood soldiers, and they are the brave men and women of the U.S. military arm, but we also need digital soldiers as well. So let's go on now, and we are going to drop 4511. 4511, a military and civilian alliance to defeat the fake news media empire. This has never been attempted. Use of general public to counter the narrative. Propaganda push by controlled media, and that's what the narrative is. All it is a propaganda push by controlled media. Analysis start to now indicate situational awareness, decoupling of MSDNC control of information, channels 1 to 99 of general public expanding at massive pace. Still not sure what channels 1 to 99 is, but I think we will soon find out, unless I missed it somewhere, but I'm not sure what that is. Attacks indicate can be defined as loss of generalized information control, need to expend ammunition, muster network to defend and coordinate attacks, to counter, military-civilian alliance. So they are wanting us to join with the military effort as digital soldiers to counter the fake news and the mainstream narrative. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, POTUS said on the 1st of November 2018 rally, we have to bypass the media in order to get straight to the people. We've gone around them like no one in history has gone around them. And that is true. I mean, really, I've never seen anything like it. He's been able to get the information right to the people. Well, at least to those people that are willing to hear and listen. And it's made all the difference in the world, because I don't think he would win without having done what he did in terms of setting up Q to be able to relay to us important information, strategic information. So I've never seen the likes of it. It's never been done in history. May never be done again. Who knows? But very, very interesting. And SunQ2 says, what Q is doing with Patriots has never been attempted. General Flynn is leading this battle behind the scenes. The plan has been in the making for many years. You are part of that plan, Patriot. Q has been training Patriots to assist in preparing the public to counter the MSDNC narrative, propaganda. The number of people reading and posting about Q analysis indicates situational awareness and indicates that the public is waking up to the control of information by the MSDNC. Channels 1 to 99 indicates the number of ways the fake news and globalists have controlled the flow of information to the public for years. Now, I'm not sure about that, but maybe that is the correct interpretation. One such channel is the TV, another is the internet, another is Hollywood movies, another is Hollywood music, etc., etc. They never contemplated the tool of social media being used against them to wake up the public. You know, they are losing control of the info flow when the attacks increase. They expend ammo because they are in a panic. They are being decoupled. This is the largest joint operation between the U.S. military and civilian patriots ever. Interesting, isn't it? And we are on to drop 4512. 4512, still on the 24th of December. December, my gosh, where did that come from? Of June. Meme, Obama and Biden treason charges, and of course here we have both their pictures with the exact same charges underneath. Let me just make this bigger so you can see it. And they're both charged with the exact same thing because they're both guilty of it. Barack Hussein Obama, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. And Lisa Mae Crowley said, Biden said last month, I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn. According to Strzok's notes, he suggested using the Logan Act. Yeah, Biden, when his mouth is open, he's lying. And now we are on to the next, and this is drop 4513. 4513. DNI John Ratcliffe and NSA head General Paul Nakasone working together. Well, isn't that something? Now, let me read this by Lisa Mae Crowley. We know Cybercom Director NSA and DNI Ratcliffe are good. They are white hats. I would imagine NSA has plenty of intel signals intelligence data on bad actors to share with Ratcliffe. Remember, FISAs work both ways. And beneath it here, we have a link, and I've just clipped it out to save us a bit of time. And this is General Paul M. Nakasone. Always a pleasure to work with DNI Ratcliffe. And here they are. DNI Ratcliffe visited NSA Gov and met with Cybercom Director NSA to discuss NSA priorities and the vital role signal intelligence plays in our national security. So there you go. Let's move on now. Still on the 24th of June, and we are on drop 4514. 4514, QAnon presence on social media is huge. Handle with care. Now, he says, worth remembering, February 2019. The scale this generates is disproportional enough to distort public perception. In 2018, ISD identified close to 30 million uses of the word QAnon across Twitter, YouTube, and forums such as Reddit and 4chan. Numbers today dwarf past estimates. Handle with care. Yeah, everybody is talking about QAnon. And Lisa Mae Crowley said stats from February 19th worth remembering. All you need to do is look at your own Twitter analytics to see how much engagement you're getting in spite of censorship, shadow banning. Our reach is massive. It's why all assets are actively trying to silence us. Of course, it's all about Trump. That's why we have all the censorship we do. Not because of Trump, it's because of Trump, but it's not his fault. They are trying to prevent him from doing what he most surely will do. And we all know what that is. All right, let's look at this link. And it says, stop the online conspiracy theorists before they break democracy. Well, if democracy is that fragile, cannibals, aliens, and clandestine lizard overlords, thanks to algorithms, such ideas threaten the future of Europe. Okay? Organized conspiracy theorist networks have launched an all-out information war across Europe. At the heart of this is the QAnon movement. It expanded from the US to Europe and the UK at rapid speed, hijacking political debates on social media as well as mass protests in the streets in recent months. Our new analysis at the Institute for Strategic Dialogue shows that European conspiracy theorists run increasingly sophisticated campaigns around critical junctions in national, regional, and global politics. They even carried out social media operations to influence voters in German state elections, including the 2018 election in Bavaria. The QAnon community, which began on the message board site 4chan, strongly overlaps with the support networks of far-right movements such as EDL and Pegida. I'm not sure what those are. Most recently, it co-opted yellow vest demonstrations and boosted hardline Brexit campaigns and Tommy Robinson protests. By injecting conspiratorial narratives into these movements, its members can leverage existing networks and alter their political direction. A common used tactic is to combine conspiracist hashtags with those of viral campaigns and trending topics. The scale this generates is disproportional enough to distort public perception. In 2018, ISD identified close to 30 million uses of the word QAnon across Twitter, YouTube, and forums such as Reddit and 4chan. Ahead of the European parliamentary elections this May, the virality of conspiracy theories about the EU and the political establishment provided a fertile playground for populist parties. Groups such as Q Europe, Q Britannia, and Q Deutschland are already gearing up to influence voting behavior in crucial election that will determine the future of the European project. QAnon adherents organize themselves on encrypted apps such as Discord and Telegram, linking the American-centered conspiracy theory to local context. Emotionally manipulative and tightly organized campaigns have allowed them to gather tens of thousands of supporters across Europe. They produce videos, disinformation databases, and run trainings on meme creation and psychological warfare. QAnon has even adopted its own currency called Initiative Q, which its founders want to turn into the next Bitcoin. Across Europe, conspiracy theories that mix old anti-Semitic tropes with new ones that demonize migrants and Muslims have gained huge traction since the refugee crisis in 2015. A recent study showed that a stunning 60% of Brits believe in at least one conspiracy theory. The idea is that a cabal of global elites run the world, that there is a plot to replace white English natives with Muslim immigrants. Well, isn't there? And that the authorities are covering up immigration numbers are among the most commonly held. In QAnon forums, it's hard to overlook the holy mess of logical fallacies and contradictions. Its adherents link the MI6, Facebook, and the Rothschilds to the Vatican, Hollywood, the Nazis, the Illuminati, and aliens in order to explain that climate change is a hoax. The Holocaust never happened. I've never heard any of the Q people saying the Holocaust never happened. I've never heard that. If they do, then, well, they shouldn't. The world is run by pedophiles, Satanists, and cannibals, and that the Queen is a direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad, and yet this virtual cosmos of absurd stories can inspire real-world incidents. Just last month, a QAnon supporter killed his brother, whom he thought was a lizard. Okay. I don't believe that. I don't believe it for a second. Can me and my pals raid MI6 DVD and go to offices in London ourselves, please? Another QAnon believer suggested in a private messaging app. Beyond inspiring attacks on perceived enemies, the spread of conspiracy theories can, in the long term, sow societal divisions and undermine confidence in democratic processes, institutions, and representatives. At a time when distrust in the political establishment runs exceptionally high, it is easy to tap into existing suspicions and fill information gaps with fabricated news and distorted statistics. No, I think that job belongs to the mainstream media. Yeah, I don't think that's QAnon people. Just saying. The architect of social media platforms plays into the hands of extreme fringe groups by pushing users towards sensationalist content. The tech firms' business models and algorithms are geared to maximize the time users spend on their platforms. Governments and big tech firms are slowly starting to push back against the systemic diffusion of disinformation. Last month, YouTube announced that it would change its algorithms to stop recommending so many conspiracy theory videos. Meanwhile, the NGO OpenAI decided that it would not release its deep fakes for text tool because its researchers feared misuse. And the release on Monday of the UK Parliament's DCMS Select Committee report demonstrates just how seriously the problems are being taken. But solutions to the problem need to be identified. Policies should require greater algorithmic transparency and accountability from tech firms in order to protect future elections. Instead of focusing exclusively on the removal of extreme content and accounts, it will be necessary to regulate against harmful infrastructures and malicious behaviors. As early adopters of new technologies, extremists will otherwise continue to exploit the latest innovations of cyberspace. You know, they sound like conspiracy theorists, if you ask me. They think there's some big conspiracy on the part of the QAnons and that they're making up all these conspiracies. Well, what do they think they're doing? They're the conspiracy theorists. Crazy. All right. Julia Ebner, an Australian journalist, is a researcher at the London-based Institute for Strategic Dialogue. So that is who wrote that. Yeah. And I mean, we're aware of what they think and how they frame this. They frame it like, oh, these are just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. They're crazy. They're extremists. Yeah. Well, what are they going to do? I mean, really, if we were of no consequence to them, they wouldn't say anything at all. Now, would they? I mean, think of all the conspiracies there are in the world that don't get, nobody really talks about them much. And if you do talk about them, nobody really counters that because they don't care. But yet, Q, oh, they really, really care. They've put all sorts of hit pieces out. They've even changed the way they do business because of Q. So, you know, brought in new algorithms, brought in new rules, what have you. All the censorship. It's all about Q, and it's all about the election. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Now, we are on drop 4515, and it says a typo in previous drop, remember ring. So he said remember when he should have said remember ring. So he just, that's all this post is just correcting that. And he said error on the move, Q. And that is why we pay attention to everything, because there's usually a reason. And if it's put there erroneously, then Q will always correct that and say, sorry, on the move, typo, whatever. But if he doesn't, we know that there's a message in there for us. So he's just letting us know, don't pay attention to that. I'm on the move. It was just an error. And we can move on now. So we are now on, no, we're not. We are still on the 24th of June. My gosh, I'm trying to go quickly, but takes a while, I guess. All right, 4516, Google's threat analysis group tweets about QAnon. Why would they do that if they didn't find it threatening? I mean, why wouldn't they just ignore it? All right, and this is the link that Q has put here. I just clipped it out for us to save a little time. Shane Huntley, waiting outside a lunch place in Silicon Valley today, I overheard a middle-aged woman calmly explaining QAnon to her friend and how it's all part of some grand plan by Trump to rebuild the U.S. government. Jarring to run across this in the real world here. Why is it so jarring? I mean, really, there's a lot of people that believe in QAnon and follow Q. Anyway, here it says, interesting, this was prioritized, routed, Google Threat Analysis Group, entry catalog, keep dreaming, young dragonfly, Q. It's funny. So, yeah, he's saying this is the, I guess, the Threat Analysis Group. And this is what they said. And it said, interesting, this was prioritized, routed, Google Threat Analysis Group, entry catalog, keep dreaming, young dragonfly. I like that. And let's go on to the next now. We're still on the 24th. Digital Soldier takes the oath, and we are going to go look at this. It says, we're in this together, unity, not division. Where we go one, we go all. Let's take a look. Hang on here.
Good afternoon, Digital Soldiers. So I always thought that I was just a mom and a nurse, but today it turns out that I get to become a digital soldier. So here we are. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all. Take the oath. Pass it on.
Awesome.
Good afternoon.
She says she's a mom and a nurse, and she doesn't even look, I mean, really, she looks like she's about 15 years old. But obviously she's older. I guess she's just one of those blessed individuals that looks young. So anyway, good for her. And let's go back and go to the next. And I think I read this, but we're in this together, unity, not division. Where we go one, we go all. And I love this one. We are on drop 4518. 4518, Deaf Digital Soldier takes the oath. And let's look. And again, Q just says, where we go one, we go all. Now, let's look at this. Sorry.
To beg that I will bear to beg and I listen to the stand. I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So only God. We go.
I love that. That's awesome. And let's come back and go on. And we are now on, we're still on the 24th of June, and it says digital soldier takes the oath, honor bound, where we go one, we go all, Q. Let's look at this.
I, Oracle Exec, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of this office of which I'm about to enter, so help me God. With that said, digital soldiers, where we go one, we go all. Let's go.
That's awesome. I like his glasses too. Nice looking young man. All right. Let's go back and come down here. We are now on the 25th of June, which is today. Woohoo! So we're on to today's tweets. So let's get them moving on these. All right, 4520, drop 4520. New Jersey Health Department workers slam Governor Murphy's deadly nursing home policies. All right, and well, they should. And this, it says Rogan O'Handley, 45 out of 50 governors did not force COVID-infected patients into nursing homes, but 5 did. Cuomo, New York; Wolf, Pennsylvania; Whitmer, Michigan; Murphy, New Jersey; and Newsom, California. Nearly half of all COVID nursing home deaths were in these states. That's not an accident. That's systemic murder. Absolutely it is. And Q says difficult truths. Q. And it is a difficult truth. And we can go here and check out the link that Q is giving us. And of course, it says, must read, New Jersey Health Department workers slam Governor Murphy's deadly nursing home policies, an unmitigated failure that led to preventable deaths. He must be held accountable. So, yeah, the letter Steve Scalise sent to the health department. And of course, we are already aware of that. And let's go back and move on to this. Drop 4521. Adam Schiff introducing bill to amend Posse Comitatus Act. Oh my gosh, you know what? We can't get rid of him too soon. And by get rid of him, I don't mean, get rid of him. I mean, just he needs to be relieved of his duties and prosecuted. Absolutely. We'll leave that up to the justice system to deal with. But I always have to, because I don't want anybody to accuse me of, oh, she's advocating. No, I would never do that. But he needs to be out of office. All right. HR 7297 to amend Title 18 U.S. States Code to prohibit the use of an armed force under the jurisdiction of the Secretary of a military department as a posse comitatus or otherwise to execute the law and for other purposes. Okay, this is the bill, and the sponsor is Pencil Neck Schiff, and it was introduced June 22nd, 2020 to the House Judiciary Committee. And the latest House, June 22nd, 2020, referred to the House Committee on the Judiciary. All right, and here we have a couple links we're going to be looking at. It says worth tracking, and what he's talking about tracking is this. It's a link to the bill itself. Oh, Adam Schiff, I don't know. Okay, so this is the bill, and Q is telling us it's worth tracking this to see what happens to it. But that is about it. I'm not going to get into or read all of this, but it is worth following, which we will do. And all right, let's go back, and it says worth tracking, and then he gives another link. We're going to go out there now, and actually he's pulled out for us the part that he wants us to focus on, but he's left the link so that we can, look that up ourselves and be sure of the Posse Comitatus. I'll start again. The Posse Comitatus Act 18 U.S. Code Section 1385, an original intent of which was to end the use of federal troops to police state elections in former Confederate states, prescribes the role of the Army and Air Force in executing civil laws and states key exemptions to the Posse Comitatus Act. Pursuant to the presidential power to quell domestic violence, federal troops are expressly exempt from the prohibitions of Posse Comitatus Act, and this exemption applies equally to active duty military and federalized National Guard troops. What is Adam Schiff trying to prevent? Everything you are witnessing, past and present, future, centrally revolves around the presidential election of 2020. Win by any means necessary. Self-preservation. Well, I guess if this is to quell domestic violence, federal troops are expressly exempt from the prohibitions of Posse Comitatus Act, and this exemption applies equally. Okay, so the intent is to end the use of federal troops to police state elections in former Confederate states, prescribes the role of the Army and key Air Force in executing civil laws and states. So I'm not sure the change that he is wanting to make, but Q is telling us it all revolves around the election. So not sure exactly. I do know what the Posse Comitatus Act is, and I've heard it, especially I think I was introduced to it by Alex Jones, to tell you the truth. And while I don't agree with everything Alex Jones has to say, and I do believe in some ways he is controlled opposition, he did play a huge role in waking a lot of people up, including myself. So I want to give, praise where praise is due. But I don't really understand all the ins and outs of it. Now, maybe some of you do, and if you do, put your thoughts in the comments below because we want to hear. Now, let's go take a look at this. Okay, well, this is the overview of the act, so let me see. And there's 3 pages, so okay, where does it start here? The Posse Comitatus Act 18 U.S. Code Section 1385, an original intent of which was to end the use of federal troops to police state elections in former Confederate. Oh, okay. Well, I guess they're not wanting federal troops to police state elections, so it was to end the use of federal troops to police state elections in former Confederate states, prescribes the role of the Army and Air Force in executing civil laws and states. Whoever, except in cases and under, okay, this still doesn't really tell me all the ins and outs of it, but, and then of course, it says, according to Lujan, 1997, the Air Force was added to the original language in 1956. Although the Navy and Marine Corps are not included in the act, they were made subject to it by the DoD regulation, 32 CFR section 213.2. And then it has the exemptions. So I don't know what Implications for Army Homeland Security activities. There is a rather diverse range of potential activities engendered in each of the Homeland Security task areas: domestic preparedness, COG, border and coastal defense, and continuity of operations that may involve circumstances in which the Army is asked to assist domestic law enforcement. Okay, now it's coming back to me. So the Posse Comitatus Act is to prevent the military being used in civil, to kind of police, states have their own police and so forth, and you don't bring in the federal. I'm not explaining it well because I don't have a firm grasp on it myself. So anyway. Accordingly, it is critical that the Army develop doctrine, leadership, and training programs that can provide clear and specific guidance on when and how the Posse Comitatus Act, as well as any other laws that prescribe Army activities in the domestic arena, applies and when it does not. So interesting. So the Army can be used for things like, after a national disaster and things like that, but it's not supposed to be used to police elections. So maybe that's what Adam Schiff, who knows what he wants to add to it. I'm going to have to read that bill that he is introducing because, of course, we all know we can't trust Adam Schiff. I mean, I don't even think Adam Schiff's mother could trust him. I mean, really. He is a piece of work. All right. Okay. Well, let's go on, shall we? Of course we shall. Now we are on drop 4522. 21 million New York City Field Hospital closes after never seeing a single patient. So please tell me why they had to put COVID patients into nursing homes. Please tell me. Someone? Anyone? Anyone? Worth remembering, why were elderly COVID-19 2 positive patients pushed into nursing homes, known hot zones, if ample capacity existed to support locally? Can you logically explain why select Democrat governors made decisions regarding elderly push into hot zones which knowingly contradicted federal guidelines as well as general common sense? Think annual influenza death rates regarding age group 65 plus. Evil surrounds us. Oh, yes, it does. And I just wanted to note that that's exactly what happened up here in Canada too. Almost all the deaths have been nursing home deaths. Yeah. So don't tell me there isn't a concentrated push, because there was. They were meaning to murder these people. Okay, now let's just hit on this. I don't think we need to read it in its entirety, but 21 million New York City Field Hospital closes after never seeing a single patient. So, yeah, that would make me angry. If I had a mother or a father that died of COVID in a nursing home, that would make me irate, really. It takes me forever to get mad. But when I get mad, really, I'm really very, very long-suffering and easygoing. I really am. But when I do get angry, it's like, but then it's gone, But in this case, I don't think it would be gone so easily. But if it's a person or something that I get angry with, it's like, it's gone. Once I get angry. Anyway, but in this case, I don't know. Don't think it would be gone so easily. I would, oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do, but I know I would be very angry and I would be making sure everyone knew. All right, let's go on now. And we are on drop 4523. Digital soldier takes the oath. Praying for a swift recovery to your back. Keep fighting. Never give up. United and strong. Where we go one, we go all. So let's check this out. All right. Hang on. I'll get some volume.
Until I discovered Patriots about 2 years ago, I was in a corporate office grinding away until I discovered Q. And here I am 2 years later out in the middle of nature with this guy. Just one good dog. And this Peter, fixing my dang back and finding the Lord Jesus and resetting my life.
Amen.
So I've gone this far, might as well continue and make it official, becoming a digital soldier. So here we go. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all. God bless Patriots.
That's
Patriots,
awesome.
about 2 years ago, I was in a corporate
Hang on
office
here.
grinding away until I just...
Okay, well, I think that is the last post for today. So that brings us completely up to date with Q. Now, let me just check because, you know, Q has a habit of keeping on posting. So, which, you know, we're not going to fault him for. We like to hear from Q. And let's just check here to make sure we're really up to date. And we're not. So, yeah, well, we left off here. So, we might as well, although he may just keep posting, but yeah, maybe I'll wait till tomorrow to catch up those two because I don't know how much he's going to okay, Democrats colluding with China to steal the 2020 presidential election on November 3rd. Let's take a look at this and see. We'll just wing it with these. Q-proof, POTUS, especially China, are they going to print millions of ballots on the exact same paper using the exact same machines? And, interesting, and it says, are China and other foreign adversaries printing, cloning paper ballots to cheat the 2020 election? This was the 22nd of June. Is this about the virus or the election? Manipulated polls mean to legitimize rigged election results. The election was not rigged. All the polls demonstrated Biden's clear lead across the country. Example. And we discussed this before because, you know, the polls are not legitimate. But what they'll say if you know, if they cheat and Biden gets in, they'll say, well, you know, it's not a surprise. The polls all showed he was ahead. And he's not. I mean, do you think that Biden could fill up an arena? I mean, I don't even think he could fill up a 7-Eleven. So what happens if China successfully duplicates, clones, selects ballots, battleground states? And you know, if he's mentioning stuff like this, you know it's happening. You know that it's a clear threat. He doesn't just pull this stuff out of his hinder parts. What happens if coordination exists with select states to deliver printing and paper ballot receipts, secrets to select foreign adversaries? Nothing to lose? Logical thinking. So, let's go back to, oh, that's not where I was. We were actually on the real Q here, posts, and it says, good catch. Coincidence? Important people understand for future events. Assumption or intel-based. Of course it's intel-based. You know, Q's not going to risk his reputation and everything else on just putting forth assumptions. Of course it's intel-based. All assets, foreign and domestic, deployed. Domestic plus China equals 11.3. So, I think that's Democrats plus China. And 11.3, of course, is the election. So they're saying the Democrats plus China. So they are colluding with China to win the election by printing ballots for the battleground states. Interesting. Scary, but interesting. And now to the very last Q drop for tonight, the last one we're going to cover anyway, because from here we're going to go into something else. All right, it says, it has a YouTube video and it says 4145, 4145, 4145.
Miles, just a little bit.
41, hang on, 41, 41, 41. Okay, we'll start it a little bit before. Alrighty.
Forward to your
He looks like Bolton, but a better looking version. Look at him with that
I could do the
Much
same.
better looking.
I could do his
I don't
good
think
job, I
anybody-
think. Looking forward to your second term.
Thank you.
The big concern I've got is how are you going to make sure that the election is fair and free from fraudulent absentee votes and mail-in ballots? That's the concern I've got.
I think it's the most important question I'll be asked because it's a great question. So now we have a mail-in thing, and you see California, he's sending out millions and millions of ballots. Where are they going? Where aren't they going? Is the postman going to hand them out? Are they going to take them out of the mailboxes? The other thing, Mark, it's very important. You get in foreign countries, you know, they keep talking, oh, Russia, China, this, especially China. Not Russia, especially China. Are they going to print millions of ballots using the exact same paper, using the exact same machines? And are they going to print ballots and then hand them in? And all of a sudden, it's the biggest risk we have, the mail-in ballot. And not so much the absentee ballot, because an absentee, like I'm in the White House and I have to vote in Florida, et cetera, et cetera. You're absentee, it's okay. But people go through a process for that. You know, it's really pretty good. But the mail-in ballots, they mail them to anybody. And they send them out by the millions. I think I read over 30 million ballots are going to be sent out in California. Where are they going? Nobody's standing there watching you vote. At least the other way, you get in line, and they're using, you know, I said the other day, we went through World War I and we voted. We went through World War II and we voted. And now we have a virus. And by that time, it'll be less and less. Why aren't we going to vote? People want to vote. But it would be nice to be able to see the people. And on top of that, they should have ID voting.
Absolutely.
Okay? We should have ID ballots. Great question.
You said you would like to have more than 3 debates with Joe Biden.
Okay. I think he wanted us to see the election part, and we did. So there you go. Obviously, and now, you know, they're going to say, oh, Trump's promoting this conspiracy that China is going to be printing these ballots. Well, you know, Trump is not stupid enough to talk about something that isn't in reality a real threat. And the Democrats are probably, you know, they probably needing a fresh supply of underwear because he's probably talking about the very thing that they're doing. And they're going, uh-oh, he knows. So that is what I think anyway. All right. Well, that brings us completely up to date with Q. Now, I will check tomorrow, and if there are additional Q posts, I'll bring them to you tomorrow. But for now, that will be it for this video. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And we are going to, it's this 1 minute and, or 1 hour and 7 minutes. That's a long video. Okay, guys. Well, good night. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and stay tuned for the next video. Yeah. Okay. Good night, guys.